Hello mares! Hopefully you can hear me live on the stream. Welcome to part 3 of my live stream launch. It's the third time we've done this now, and hopefully we are past all of the technical issues that we had on Monday for those people who were there. Fingers crossed things will be a lot better today. I have completely rebuilt the demonstration city we're in, as you can see. We've got tons and tons of resources here, and the city's been provided by EA and Track20 to help us out with those. I'm just going to tweak the volume on the game a little bit. Hopefully it's not too loud against my voice. And I've cleared out a whole load of space down here for us to explore the new content. We'll go through it hopefully all in one go this time. I've got rid of all the old massive epic project buildings that are in here with all those spinning speed up tokens, and I think that was what was causing the crashes and stuff. I've managed to run this fairly stably for an hour or so at a time, so we shouldn't have any problems at all. And if you're just kind of catching up and you're new to my channel and you haven't seen me stream before, well, don't worry, it's a new thing. You may have caught my stream yesterday, and if you did, you will have seen us build this awesome looking casino strip down here, which I think looks really, really cool. I built this in my main city before, but I did a sort of creative playthrough yesterday, and there's a video up of the sort of highlights from that on my channel right now, so you can go and check that out if you want and see kind of how we put that together. And I'm going to be doing more of these kind of builds in the future, so do look out for those. We'll have a weekly live stream. The plan is to be live on Tuesday evenings at around this time. It'll be sort of 9 PM UK time every week, and then if there's lots of people interested in it and people are sharing the stream and the audience is growing and people are appreciating what I'm doing and stuff like that, then we might be able to add some additional days as well, and possibly other days in the week. But time is really, really tight for me at home, so I thought I'd start with one day and see kind of how we get along. I can see a question in chat already there, Sylvia Ventura. How did I get 4,000 keys? I explained that at the start of the stream. The city we're playing in here is a demo city from EA and Track20. They've set it up so we can explore this content together. I can show you the different things in the new Future Cities update, and yeah, to do that you need a bunch of resources. So we've fitted the city out here with a bunch of resources. So yeah, let me just catch up on chat before we start unlocking things and taking a look at stuff. See what people have been talking about. So it looks like some people have got exams coming up at the moment. Bunch of people in the chat, different level cities, 34, 20, 78, 70. Pretty cool. Awesome. And I can see we've already had one incident of somebody who maybe is new to the channel bundling into the chat and throwing out swear words. Obviously, this is a family-friendly channel. I like to keep it that way. So if you see something in chat that isn't family-friendly or whatever, then just go ahead and hit the report button on it. If I haven't already caught it, or the filter I've got on the channel doesn't catch it automatically, then that'll sort them out, and the message should disappear. But fingers crossed we won't have too many of those kinds of problems today. Right, so let's go ahead then. Let me just hit start recording on here as well, and just check that we've got the volume on the city. I'm not hearing... Oh, here we go, I can hear it now, I think. Let me just check. How loud is that? Not too bad, I think that's okay at volume 2. So let's zoom out and we will take a look at the NeoMall. And this is the start of all the Future Cities content. Excuse me, just coughing there, not too good. So yeah, we'll take a look at all of this, and let's go and tap on the NeoMall now. There we go, nice fireworks. Spinning around the NeoMall, and that's it, open. And what we'll try and do over the course of the stream is demo all the new content for you, so you can see everything. So Mayor, the NeoMall is now open. We've gifted you 5,000 NeoSimoleons to spend on rare items. So we'll claim those, get 5,000, in our what will be our NeoBank, because we will need to build one of those at some point. Tip here: cities of tomorrow, future cities, cities of tomorrow. They're kind of interchangeable terms, really. I think it was called Cities of Tomorrow in maybe the SimCity 2013 game, but here it's called Future Cities, and yeah, so a little bit of confusion. But yeah, we need to go ahead and build some Omega homes. And if you've got any questions about the update or anything you particularly want to show me, then throw those into the chat as well. We're going to go ahead and build our first Omega zone in a bit. Let's put some roads in to start this process. We've got some space. Like I said, I've created all this space down here out of the way. Put a road in. And drop in our Omega zone, our first Omega zone. There we go. So these can hold up to 2,550, I think it is. Residents, yeah, 2,550 there. So you get 40% more than your normal standard residential zones. And the service demand on these is high, but you're sort of providing that through the ControlNet and the drone services. Let's go ahead and upgrade this building. There we go. And we can see now it needs the ControlNet, so we should go ahead and build that. And I think it helps if you're new to the content to think about the ControlNet. It's almost like a fire, police or health service in terms of kind of how it works. You place it down and it covers an area, you can see here. Obviously the Omega homes don't actually need fire, police or health. All that stuff is provided by the drones, which we'll get to later on. But the ControlNet kind of works like fire, police and health in a sense. So you have to kind of make sure you've got your buildings covered, you place them down. You've got 3 different types: small ControlNet tower, and you buy these and you spend the NeoSimoleons that your buildings will earn. And you can see those there in the top right-ish. We've got 5,000 of those right now. It cost 1,800 to build the small ControlNet tower, 15,000 for the basic, and 37,000 for the deluxe version. And that obviously covers a larger area. So you can see our first NeoSimoleons here generated by our level 1 Omega residential zone. Let's go ahead and try and collect those. And it will tell us, there we go, yes, we need a safe place to deposit our NeoSimoleons. We should build a NeoBank. So we do that in government, and it's the next step along here. So let's go ahead and place this down here. It is free to build, and I think it looks pretty cool. So we'll tap on that. We've got our NeoBank now. We can now collect our NeoSimoleons. We head over there and we tap them, and plus 100. So I see a couple of questions in chat there asking about epic projects for Omega buildings. There aren't any. Certainly not at the moment. Whether there are any plans to introduce them later on or not, I don't know. But I think it's probably unlikely because of kind of how the different things work and stuff like that. In the same way that we don't have epic projects for Paris or London or Tokyo buildings, they are sort of big enough and special enough on their own. So I think that's probably what we'll find. And of course, yeah, you do need to be level 30 to unlock this content. Okay, so we should go and see if we can add another Omega zone. Oh, I think we have to do our research first. So let's get our buildings down. We've done the NeoBank. We're now going to do the Omega Research Center. I'll have to try and use the correct name for this today, because on Monday I kept on calling it the Research Lab, I think, and of course it is not, because there are labs as well. So tap government again, and here you can see it's the top secret facility where scientists transform Omega material into Omega items. And depending on the kind of Omega material you've got, in this case it's an Omega, it says it's an Omega 1, but it's actually one of the higher end things, sort of the Omega 3 realistically, because it gives us 3 Omega items, or Omega boxes, and then 6 normal items. So we'll go ahead and collect it, and here we go. Get a nice little graphic on screen. You can see very clearly the 3 Omega boxes. Let's tap those, and we get 3 different items there, the new ones, and then these other boxes in the normal sort of blank sides and top will just be normal items. So let's go grab those. There we go, a couple of watches, and some minerals and grass and things. Okay, let's upgrade our Omega residential zone. Agartron, I can see you saying you really like the Maglev roads. Well, we'll definitely try and build some of those later on in the stream so people can see them. Okay, so we've used our Omega material now to make those Omega items, and we've got some of those stored. But we also need to build an Omega lab to make the Omega material. So let's go and see how we do that. Head on back to a government. And it's another building, and you can actually have up to 6 of the Omega labs. Let's build our first one, again, free to place. And there it is in our city. Tap on the government thing, and then to start the process of making Omega material, it costs us Simoleons. So we drag those over, and because this is an end game item, it's part of the end game content really right now, isn't it? It's, you know, you're 30 levels in. You've done pretty much everything there is to do. You've unlocked most things. There are still other things you can unlock, obviously. I think the worship ones unlock at a later level, and there are other things, you know, that require different population amounts and all those kinds of stuff. But it's kind of the end game content. So you're going to have, or you're likely to have, quite a lot of Simoleons to be able to pump into making Omega material to then turn into your futuristic city and buildings. And I think that works quite well. So let's collect our Omega material. We can start processing another one, another 5,000 Simoleons, and obviously this time it's going to take 40 minutes. We'll go back and finish that with SimCash in a bit, and we've got a tip about Omega material. And as we know, we use the Omega material to produce Omega items. We get the bouncy spinning yellow arrow. How exciting. I think it wants me to tap on the tree over here. No? Oh, okay, maybe it's this bit then. I'll tap on that instead. Okay, so there's our Omega one. This small Omega material gives us 1 Omega item and 2 other items. So let's drag it to the bit there, and we'll speed up this process as we've got the SimCash in this demo city to be able to show us these things quickly. So let's tap it, and it'll be the same kind of process as before. It finishes up, and we get the Omega items in this box, and the normal items in those 2 boxes. And then we can use those Omega items to upgrade our Omega buildings when they're ready. So they need parks, they're saying right now, but what we know they really need is drones. So let's go ahead and build some of those. Drones are your eyes in the sky, taking care of all crime, fire and health related emergencies. So it's act like your police, fire and health station, health services, but they don't work in quite the same way. So they don't have a coverage area. They interact with your city in the same way that kind of power and water do. So I could put them, you know, all the way down here if I want, and it would cover this building down here. It's no problem at all. It's not a coverage area like we saw with the ControlNet. It is in fact it's like a sort of powered service to the city. Let's pop them over here though. Let's put one perhaps, you know, by the NeoBank so the drones can keep an eye on all those NeoSimoleons. There he goes, whizzing off. See our little drone there. Sound effects not included. Let's go ahead and upgrade our Omega building as well. So yeah, when you first unlock, I can see a couple of people getting confused about the Simoleons amount. When you first unlock it, I think it's 5,000 for the first one and then 7,000 for subsequent ones. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Or it might be 5,000 for the first one in a day and then 7,000, but yeah, you'll see the price go up in a bit. Right, so now we've done that, we can actually build 3 more Omega zones. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll work out a little bit of a system down here, I think, to get our place going. So we could put one building in there, perhaps have the road sort of loop around nicely. And if you're familiar with my channel and me playing kind of SimCity BuildIt, my Blocks Plays BuildIt series, you'll know that I like to try and build things sort of functionally, but also have them look nice. I like, you know, a bit of form and function, a bit of aesthetics, so I can have fun in the city and that it looks nice. So it's not just all massive skyscrapers. And that might be because I'm playing on quite an old iPad mini, and you know, if I try and have really big skyscrapers, it just fills up the screen and you can't really kind of see anything else. And I prefer to have a little bit of difference and variety in the things we've got. Or it might be that's, you know, that's just kind of what I prefer, but that's what we're going to carry on kind of doing today. So I'll demo all the content, but we'll have it try and look a little bit pretty as well. So how about we join this up to our gambling casino strip that we built yesterday. And then we've got a little zone there, nice little layout for us to pop our Omega zones into. So let's grab one of those, or one of those, or one more of those, and put them down there. And again, because we're in the demo city here, we can just go ahead and upgrade all of these, no problems at all. And we'll just use the SimCash to complete. And we can see once we've built those, we have a problem immediately, and that of course is the ControlNet. So we've got our ControlNet over here, this one. And if we tap and hold, you can see that it covers that little area, but we need another one over here to cover that extended area as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think we should probably put it, yeah, let's put it over kind of this side, and then we'll have one more in the middle to sort of bridge the gap between the 2 sections. We could maybe put it there. I think that would work okay, and then we can kind of build in the middle. And again, we'll just use the SimCash from this demo city to show and demonstrate kind of how this works. So there's our little ControlNet there, spanning that area, and just providing what our Omega homes need. And you can see a couple of drones whizzing around as well. Yeah, Daniel, I can see your question in chat there. Yes, that's correct. No hospital, no police precinct, no fire stations required. All those services are provided by the single drone base, which is pretty good. But they do have a capacity with them. So if we tap and hold, it'll pop up here. You can see capacity is 4, demand is 4. So these small drone bases provide 4 units of drone coverage. I guess it's, you know, it's like power or stuff, as I said. And yeah, that's our drone base there. So let's go ahead and check out sewage and power, because we now seem to have a problem with these. And as you may have noticed, if you've built these in your own cities, they are quite demanding, these new Omega homes. They do take up quite the capacity, so you have to look out for that stuff. Shall we build one of these new sewage treatment plants, or should we go for one of the more standard old school style? Perhaps we should check out the treatment plant, as it's a new building. See if it has a dirty radius. Doesn't appear to, so like the deluxe sewage plant, it doesn't have a dirty radius. Let's pop that maybe in here. It's not particularly nice to live next to a sewage plant, of course, but I think our Omega Sims and citizens will be okay. We'll just drop it in there next to the drone base. And again, we'll just use the demo SimCash we've got here to place that down. And that will solve our sewage problems, but we do need to sort our power problems. We could go for one of the new Omega power plants, and let's do that. Let's pop them up here. And again, use that demonstration SimCash. Okay. So There we go. That should be our power and sewage problems fixed. Yet all our services are back to normal, which is fantastic. So let's now go and have a look in a bit more depth at what the demands on power, water, sewage and things like that are for each new zone. So you can see right now, capacity of our power network is 216, our demand is 117. So let's go ahead and build a new Omega zone. Pop it in there. And obviously right now, there won't be any additional demand on the power because we haven't upgraded it to sort of level 1 yet, but let's do that now. And if we head back to, you can see the drones obviously kicked up there straight away. But if you head over to power now, you can see it takes 5 units of power from our grid there. It went from 117 to 122. So yeah, 5 units of power for each Omega zone. So they are quite power hungry, and they do require quite a lot of resources from your city's grid, if you think of it like that. And we've got some progress as well, and we should head over to one of the new quests that's in the game. So it's the Cities of Tomorrow quest. Mayor, head to the future and bring tomorrow to your city today. We've got a couple of things that we can do. So build Omega homes, we've started that process. Collect Omega items, we need to get 30 of those, and build an Omega lab, and we need to do 3 of the Omega labs. I suggest we try and finish that by the end of the stream, so we'll go ahead and say yes, we're on that. And we need to work on Omega labs and sorting out our drone situation. So let's do that. Let's get another capacity 4 drone base. Let's put it between these buildings over here. And again, it doesn't matter where in your city the drones are, they will fly around and provide services to your Omega homes. They don't have to be within a certain distance, it's just the control nets here, which you can see have to be within a certain distance and provide coverage within a certain area or radius. So let's put that back there and move on. We can do some more Omega homes, because what we want to do is head over to the government menu and build some more Omega labs and some Omega storage. And we can actually build our second Omega lab already, so let's do that. Just going to move the power station to, let's put it over here, and let's build our Omega labs. We need the government tab, just tap there and drop it in like that. Again, just using the old demonstration SimCash there to get this started. So here are our 2 Omega labs now. You can see this one here on the left not doing anything right now, and this one on the right is Omega processing. It's active. So let's do 5,000 Simoleons to kick this process off, and we'll just complete that one straight away. And you can see we've got one of the larger Omega materials there. So if we head back to the research center, you can see this is an Omega 2. So the one we saw originally, although it said Omega 1, it was actually an Omega 3 material. This Omega 2 material gives us 2 Omega items and 4 other items. The Omega 1 gives 1 Omega item and 2 other items, and then it's 3 and 6 for Omega level 3. So let's drag this over, oops, to our research center, and it will take 3 hours for us to complete. Let's go ahead and just do it straight away. Here's our 2 Omega boxes with our new items, a hoverboard, and I forget the name of the other one, and then our other 4 boxes. There we go. Cool. So nothing in our Omega Research Center right now. We should start Omega processing in the lab to get stuff going. Let's finish one, start another one, finish this one, and start another one. And if we head back to the Omega Research Center, you can see we've got 2 slots here, the Omega one on the left and the Omega one on the right. And we've only got 4 maximum slots in the Research Center, so as we build more Omega Labs, these slots will unlock. So you can see we need more labs to unlock those. You need 3 to unlock this first one, and then a total of 6 to unlock that one, because we have 2 at the moment, we need 1 more. let's see if we can do that. I think right now what we actually need is more homes, but let's go and double check. So yeah, we'd need to get another 3 homes. So let's build those, and then we'll throw down our Omega storage, which is represented up here at the top next to the normal city storage. You can see me kind of highlighting and tapping on it there. It says 2 out of 10 at the moment. So it's just kind of like this normal city storage when you build it at the start. You don't really have a great deal of size in it or anything like that. Let's go and get those homes down. Omega zone, one there, one there, and then I wonder if can we sneak one in here somewhere. Doesn't look like we can. We might just play around with the road a little bit. Can we let's just sneak it in there with a little bit of careful zoom in. We may have to move the road first to get it to snap to it. Yeah, let's do that. It's just a little bit too fiddly. So I'm going to bring the road here. And this is one of the things I find as I'm designing my city and kind of playing around with it. Don't be afraid to throw things down and try stuff out like this, and get a kind of layout that you enjoy and will like playing with. Because it's nice to have things looking good if you're going to visit your city, regularly. I imagine most people are playing quite a lot. It's a very popular game, and if you're visiting your city, even once a day, you might as well have it be a good experience, right? So let's get these Omega zones going. May need to check in to our power grid and sewage and stuff. No, the service is still okay at the moment. Do let me know if there's anything particular you want to see from the update, otherwise we'll just carry on kind of working our way through the content. So I'm going to have a quick sip of coffee. Cool, so back to it then. Got our Omega zones down now, and we should be able to, we can build the next level of the ControlNet. So it's 15,000 NeoSimoleons for this. We've got our 8 out of 8 buildings required, and we can actually pop our basic ControlNet in the middle there and cover all of our zones automatically, and then use our small ones to expand to a new area up here. Or we could just place our basic ControlNet tower up here and then sort of expand into it. And I think what we will do is let's go for there. I think just kind of opposite the power station. And what you can do with these services, in the same way as you probably realised with police and fire and health services, is that if you leave a gap of space between your 2 coverage areas, the buildings in the middle actually do get covered. So you can see they're highlighted green there, and those buildings are actually receiving coverage. So if we head up to let's see if I can find another example, because this isn't my main city, I probably can't demonstrate this particularly easily. Let's just clear that off. And okay, so let's look at park coverage as an example. See if there's one I can just show you what I mean. Yeah, okay, this should be able to do it. Yeah, okay, so you can see here the coverage area from the Ultimate Mayor statue over here reaches out like this, and the line kind of wobbles along the side. You see it it goes out to surround those buildings. The actual line that it's on is, I've just moved it now, let's put it back where it was. The actual line that it's on there is the one that's in the middle of the screen, and it kind of would intersect these buildings, and because it intersects them, the coverage extends to cover the whole of that building. And that's the same thing you're seeing with the towers from the ControlNet down here. So it's worth kind of thinking about that when you're laying stuff out and making sure you've got all your coverage in different places, that you can leave a gap of 1, because so long as you then provide coverage up to the edge of that building, you're always going to provide coverage all the way down that gap. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a handy little layout tip for you there. So let's go ahead and upgrade some more of these. Again, we'll just use all this demo SimCash we've got. We'll push on with the building over here. This one's actually getting quite high now. Let's have a look at it upgrading. I think that's this. This must be tier 4 or 5 now. Quite cool. Nice greenery on the roof and clean lines and colours. Okay, right. Let's move on. Do some more upgrading. Get these levelling up. And let's maybe pop a park in the middle. It's looking a bit bland here at the moment, isn't it? Let's pick a park to go with these buildings. Something clean and futuristic looking. I think what we're looking for is the reflecting pool park, and we can pop it in there. There we go. And that obviously boosts and affects population as well. So here's one of the really interesting looking Omega residential zones there on the left hand side. Kind of looks like somebody's got a bunch of hi-fi separates and stacked them on top of each other and then put a swimming pool on the top. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I can hover over the link and it goes blue, but maybe it's not for you guys in chat. But yeah, you should be able to copy paste it into your browser of choice. Let's upgrade some more of these. And we'll start to really push on and grow our Omega zones now. And you can see the kind of effect that all this will have on your city and how many resources and things you need to have. We're obviously doing this really, really quickly, but over time, I'm trying to get this stuff done in your own city. It can take quite a lot of time. You do need a lot of Omega items, and they take quite a bit of time to generate. So let's drop another one in there. Grab another 3 of these. Throw one down there. One by the power plant. And let's perhaps put one there, and we can sneak another park in between those 2 buildings. And you can see already, you know, we're running into water and waste management problems. Reflecting pool park. Let's boost the population in that area, make those citizens a little bit happier. And I said we'd take a look at the Omega water towers, so let's do that now. Here they are. Looking quite interesting. You get 100 capacity out of one of these. Cost you 10,000 NeoSimoleons. The basic water tower you only get 9 out of, and obviously the water pumping station in the middle, 55. But yeah, very much end game content, this Omega water tower, and they're only small actually. So they fit in a 1x1 space. We can drop one in here. Tiny little things. Use the SimCash there to complete it. And yeah, they just fit in there like that, 1x1, but provide you 100 capacity. Let's carry on with where we were at. We were onto the Omega Recycling Centre because we need to sort out our waste management problems. And obviously, you know, we've got this huge capacity Omega Recycling Centre we can use now, 100 capacity. So let's go ahead and chuck that down. Let's leave a space for our Omega Labs. I think we'll have sort of all 6 of them, 3 and 3 on this side of the road over here, sort of facing each other. Then maybe we could have a residential building in there, and then perhaps the recycling centre kind of on the end. So we'll leave some space for those. And let's put that down and take a look at it. I have to say this is running a lot smoother than Monday. I don't know if any of you who are in the stream right now caught the live stream, the launch live stream I managed to do on Monday, but we were having all kinds of problems with the game crashing, and my poor old little first gen iPad here just could not cope. And I think it was all the spinning speed up tokens above the massive sort of epic projects and city I had going on. But I think those problems seem to be solved today, so that's good. And I do I find that said this yesterday, I think, or Monday. I can't remember when we looked. I think we may have looked at it yesterday. This building kind of looks like a hairdryer to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me or not, but the building kind of on the bit on the left hand side, if you sort of stuck a handle on there, would that not just be exactly like a hairdryer? I think it would be. One of the things somebody asked a question about yesterday or Monday, I can't remember which, was how do you get these sort of walkways in the sky. This sort of thing here that looks like it's maybe a slide. You can kind of see Sims walking along, right? Well, they just actually appear automatically when you've built these big buildings. So you can see those two buildings are now kind of joined by this floating sky bridge. Pretty cool, right? Look at that little sim walking across the bridge there in the centre of the screen. Let's upgrade these roads then. So here we go. Upgrades to OMEGA Maglev, and this is the first kind of road that it doesn't just cost you simoleons to upgrade. It is a NeoSimoleons here. So yeah, pretty expensive. It's a fairly long strip of road we've got here, but you would expect it to be expensive anyway. It's an end game item, it's an end game currency. I think that kind of makes sense. I don't know how quickly you know, you're going to generate NeoSimoleons yet, and over time I think it will become clearer how many you can get every 24 hours. But that is the upgrade, us upgrading to an OMEGA Maglev road, and that's what it looks like at night. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And if we can we zoom in a bit further? I think that's about as far as I can get zoomed in. And you just between the, there you go, you can see the little, oh, there it is, little maglev there zipping along and going back, the little blue shuttle stopping there outside the lab. Yeah, so that's kind of what it looks like. Pretty cool, I think. I think at daytime they stand out a little bit more. At nighttime I think they actually look better and blend in slightly better. Thank you very much for watching, as always. Really appreciate you dropping in. Have a great rest of the evening, and well, probably sleeping wherever you are. Enjoy yourselves and take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.